rest.
Well, we were talking about the break about a few things, but also, Amy, and one of the things that men have a little bit different than females is a little bit more muscle mass. So, as we are active during the day doing things, we will burn a few more calories than the females will. So that will help a little bit too. But so I hope that answers your question. And Creig had a sideline business he was starting, which was going to be dual pumps to help weight loss. But no, and if you're a female and you are lactating for, it brings up another subject. There are prolactinomas, or actually brain tumors. So if you are lactating for one reason, do go to your provider, your healthcare provider, and do get that checked out, just to make sure that there's nothing else more serious going on there. So, but I can't stress enough that, when I have patients bring in food diaries for me, and I see what people eat, I mean, it is all processed food. It is so scary. And just to, in fact, I had one diabetic in almost right before I came here. He had a food diary in his sugars, and his diet had oatmeal in it, and it had burritos, and it had, a lot of stuff that's just, horrible.
A lot of people might think if it's not sweet, it's not sugar, though.
Right.
Okay, this isn't sweet, this isn't sugar, but your grains, your pastas, your complex carbohydrates are all pure sugar.
They are.
Pure sugar.
And they're pure processed. So, and again, remember, you've got to do some activity after you eat. I mean, look at children that get up, look at children that play. I mean, the children that are overweight are the ones that get up from the dinner table and they go sit in front of the TV. The children that are thin are the ones that get up from the dinner table and they go outside and play. So children that play are burning off the calories, okay? Children that eat and it's looking at their phone and looking at the iPad or that, they're overweight. So,
do you remember back in grade school, as I think back, I can only remember in grade school one obese person.
Yeah.
One obese person. Now the kids have a difficult time remembering one skinny person.
Right, because they sit in front of the TV.
Change of diet, change of activity.
Right.
When we were kids, we spent hours and hours playing baseball or kickball or tag, running around, until the street lights come on, and then we had to come in.
Yeah. And now if you see a kid, they're sitting at home with their iPad and their earphones on, they totally tune out the world. Louis.
Good evening, gentlemen. Listen, you guys started off the program talking about politics.
Yeah.
Okay, and I got a question about politics. After we get done watching these programs, we're so aggravated, we're so disgusted. What can we do to solve our problems from being you have stomach problems and stuff from all the stress and stuff? Other than turning off the TV, what can we do to solve that? Because I tell you what, a lot of times after I watch stuff, I get so aggravated, my stomach's upset. What's a good remedy for that?
I personally, have you get a dart board, and you take the person that you're angry at, and you put their picture up there, and you just flick a few darts at there, kind of little personal stress relief, and then I think you really have to sit down and realize that this is just one of those things you've got no control over. And a lot of times I love to watch Fox News, but sometimes after watching Fox News, I become so irritated because nothing is being done. And there's finally one person who's saying what we're supposed to say, and he's getting creamed all over the media for it.
If you really want to be frustrated, change it to CNN.
No, I don't do that. That's short for Communist News Network.
Yeah.
Or bounce over to ABC or NBC.
Like you just said, sometimes you listen to this stuff, and you're saying to yourself, now, wait a minute, you keep talking about the same problems over and over, and you're not coming up with a solution. And then we're talking about people that are in power that could solve the problems. They're not doing it. And now they're telling you, well, I can do it now. Well, why couldn't you do it all this other times? And like I said, the frustration, sometimes, believe it or not, I know that there's people that, like myself, that sometimes I got to turn off the channel because all I'm doing is getting aggravated. But is there something that we could eat or do other than changing the channel that could help our aggravation and our stomach problems after watching some of this stuff?
Yeah, well, eating would probably be the worst thing you could do, because I think that's what people do out of frustration a lot of times, is they'll just get nervous and get nervous energy. You ever notice how when people are either on the phone or they're doing something, they've got something in their mouth, they're eating, or cigarette smoking is one of those things. It's a ritual thing to help put something between you and the stressor, whatever the stress issue is. So I don't have a great answer for you. Sometimes not turning on the TV, not reading the news, but you want to be informed, but then the crap that they serve you is, it's horrible, what the lies and the distortion of the truth. And then you get to the point where sometimes you don't know who to believe. You have to do your own research, and that's the part that I find frustrating, because people don't really research the news and the truth, and they believe what they hear for the first time. So Louis, good question. I guess you don't want to take a Xanax and watch the news so that you don't get upset. I don't think that's smart either. I don't know what the answer is. I think you have to be calm. That's not something you want to take your blood pressure after. Maybe get the TV and get a couple bricks of the old tubes and throw it at the TV.
Want to know something? I think that's a very good idea. That would release the stress. Yeah. Or what they could do, they ought to have something like at the carnivals, where you get some guy that sits in that thing with the water, and you throw the baseball at the thing to knock him in the water. But he should be dressed up like the person that is causing you all the frustration. Yep. Now, could you imagine that in a carnival? If somebody was to sit there that you really didn't like, and you were like, paying a couple dollars to get some baseballs to try to hit that little bullseye to knock him in the water. Now that would release the tension, but something tells me that's not going to happen.
I might
I'll
have
let
to.
you guys go. You guys got a great program, and
thanks
a lot for trying to answer my question. But I think turning off the TV would be a good solution. But you guys take it easy.
Thanks, Louis.
It's like a bad football game. You just can't watch it anymore. Your team's getting clobbered, and no matter what they do, it turns out to be a losing proposition. So. Yeah, that's tough. It really is. And one of the things this thing I came up by watching these debates is this political pivot, right?
Yeah.
The term pivot. And what they do is you ask them a question, and they immediately don't even answer the question. They immediately just start talking about something that's totally unrelated to the question. And they do this thing where you pivot off of the thing. If you tried to answer it, you get creamed. But if you deflect it and pivot it to someone else, then you get off scot-free, and then you make the issue about something else that's not even related to the question. And the big thing about this political issue is that, look what happened in 2 days. 2 days makes a difference between
12 points.
Yeah, 12 points. Well, I don't believe the polls anyway. I really don't. I don't believe what. I think, the people have already made up their mind on who they're going to vote for. There's really not that many undecided people. So it's just what the media wants you to believe. John, hello.
Yes, hello.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, except for my leg.
For what?
Except for my leg, yeah. My right leg is what I'm calling about.
Okay.
I can't even bend down to pick up anything. And the pressure is behind my leg, between the knee and my bottom. And there's a big round spot there. I hope I don't have a blood clot there.
You might want to turn your TV off, because you're getting a lot of echo back there, John. But Craig, you want to?
Yeah, I'll take this one. John, when did this start?
It started about 3 or 4 days ago.
Did you lift something, pick something up, bend? Work in the yard, rake,
well,
shovel?
I wear a back brace because I have a lot of pain in my back, and I can't get up. I'm 80 years old. I can't get up to go to the VA clinic and get my back shots, because I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I can't do that.
Well, I don't think you have any blood clots. What you're describing is classic sciatica, which is a pressure on the sciatic nerve, the main nerve root coming out of the fifth lumbar vertebrae and the sacrum. Goes down the back of the leg, around to the side, and into the calf.
What should I do? Should I go get an X-ray or that, or what?
Well, if you feel like you're 80 years old, I kind of got an idea what they're going to see in the X-ray. You probably have a lot of joint degeneration. You probably have disc degeneration, along with stenosis. And
Well, you know my doctor is Dr. Carl. Carl at the VA.
Bill Carl.
yeah,
Yeah, Bill Carl.
but I mean, to help yourself out at home. John, we have a minute left, so we're going to go to break. Stay on the phone, and I'll come back to you with some ideas on what you can do.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.